Nobody is going to tell you this at an open house, so I will. Expensive and luxurious are not the same thing. And once I show you the 7 details that separate them, you will never get fooled by a pretty listing again. And here's the part that I love. This is the exact stuff I use when I walk in a home, and I'm giving it to you for free. Hi, I'm Abigail Anderson. I'm a realtor here on the Eastside, and reading the gaps between expensive and luxury is basically my whole job. I've walked through million-dollar homes that feel cheap, and I've walked smaller homes that feel like real money. And watch out for number 6 especially. It's the one the house is hoping you won't check. Let's start with the one that fools almost everybody. It's the easiest mistake to make and nobody warns you about it. We're trained to read luxury as size. Bigger rooms, taller ceilings, more square footage. The instinct is exactly why people overpay. Think about a really expensive suit versus a really big suit. A big suit just has more fabric, but an expensive suit is cut to the person. Every proportion is intentional. A room works the same way. A genuinely luxurious room has trim, baseboards, and door casings that are sealed to the space. Tall ceilings get heavier millwork, everything relates. Expensive looking just goes big and forgets the rest. You'll see soaring 20-foot ceilings sitting on top of a skinny little 3-inch baseboard. Your eye can't name what's wrong. It just feels off, and that's the tell. When the trim doesn't match the size of the room, somebody spent money on an impression, not on the home. Anyone can buy big. Proportions have to be built. Here's the one that protects your wallet the most, and it takes about 4 seconds to check. The materials. And I don't mean what they look like, I mean what they actually are. Real luxury uses materials that are honest. Stone that's actually stone, wood that's actually wood, metal with real weight. Expensive looking uses materials that are pretending. Quartz dressed up to look like marble. Vinyl plank doing an impression of oak. A hollow painted panel pretending to be a solid door. And here's how you catch every one of them. You don't look at the surface. The surface is designed to win you over. You look at the edges, the undersides, the places they're betting you won't. Lift the corner of the rug. Run your eyes along the edge of the countertop. Open the cabinet and look how it's built on the inside. The face of a material is the marketing. The edge is the receipt. The surface is the sales pitch. The edges are the truth. The next one I want you to feel, not just look at, because the difference in a house that photographs well and a house that feels good to live in is the things that you touch every single day. The handles, the drawers, the faucets, the hinges. Next time you're in a home, actually pick up the weight of an interior door. Open the kitchen drawer and just let go of it. In a real luxury home, a door has heft. The drawers glide out and eases itself shut. It feels solid in your hand before you ever impress with your eyes. Expensive looking dumps all of its money on centerpieces, big light fixture, a showpiece range, and then cheaps out on everything your hand actually touches. Hollow doors, rattly drawers, hardware that feels like a toy. And think about it. You don't live in a chandelier. You touch that doorknob 4,000 times a year. The stuff you touch every day tells you what the builder cared about when the camera was off. You don't live in a chandelier. You live in the doorknob. Here's the one that quietly affects how you feel in a home every single day, and almost nobody evaluates it on purpose. The lights, the real kind, the natural light, and how the sun actually moves through the house. A genuinely luxurious home is designed around the light. The windows are placed where the light is good. The main room faces in the right direction. The home is bright because someone planned for it to be. Expensive looking fakes it. It compensates. You'll walk into a dim room absolutely loaded with recessed cans and one big fixture trying to do the job that the windows wouldn't have done. So here's your move. Walk in and notice how the room feels with the lights off. If it still feels alive in the play daylight with nothing switched on, That's the real thing. If you need it to be lit up like a stage to feel good, the house is telling you something. Light you have to install is covering for light that was never designed in. Real light is designed, fake light is installed. Quick gut check, because this is where it clicks. Everything so far has been stuff that you can see and touch. Proportions, materials, hardware, light. The next three go deeper into the stuff that doesn't photograph at all. And that's exactly where the most expensive mistakes are hiding. Stay with me. This one is invisible in photos, which is exactly why it costs people. You can love every room in a home and still feel miserable living in it, because it's not about the rooms, it's about how they connect. Think about a good dinner party versus an awkward one. Same people, same food. The only difference is the flow, how one moment hands you to the next. A home works the same way. In a real luxury home, the room hands you off. You move through it and it feels just right. The sight lines line up, the doorways land where they should. Expensive looking is the opposite. It's a bunch of great rooms that don't talk to each other, each one trying to win on its own. But you walk the path between them, and it's clumsy. A hallway that's too tight, a room you walk into from a weird angle, a kitchen that's nowhere near the dining room. So don't just stand there in a pretty room and nod. Walk it the way you'd actually live in it. Groceries to the kitchen, bed to the bathroom at 6 a.m. The flow is the one thing you can't stage, so it tells you the truth. Luxury isn't in the rooms, it's the spaces between them. This is the one I told you to wait for, and it's the one that separates a house that looks expensive from a house that is expensive. What you can't see, the installation, the soundproofing, how heating and cooling is zoned, the framing, the bones. Here's the truth. Nobody in my industry says out loud. Every house has a budget, and that budget either went to the bones or it went to the staging. It almost never goes into both. Change this to it. It doesn't say staging. Say something about bones versus the structure of the house. Expensive looking spends it where the camera can see it. Real luxury spends it where you'll feel it for the next 30 years. And you can feel it. You just have to slow down. Stand still in the middle of a house and listen. Is it quiet? Or can you hear streets and neighbors and the floor above you? Walk on the floor. Solid, or do they bounce? Go from a sunny room to a shaded one. Is the temperature even? Or does every room feel like a different climate? A quiet, solid, evenly comfortable home is a home where the home money went into the right place. The staging is what they show you, but the bones are what you have to live in. Staging is for the photo, bones are for the decade. And the last one might be the most important because you can't get it and you can't turn it off. Expensive looking is insecure. It's trying to prove its value in every square inch. That accent wall, the waterfall island, the statement in everything. Every surface basically shouting, I cost money. Real luxury doesn't need to. It trusts the proportions and the materials to do the talking. And then it leaves the room alone. The calmest room in the house is almost always the most expensive one to build. So when a home is screaming at from every direction, that's not confidence, that's overcompensation. A home that has to convince you it's expensive usually isn't. As I like to say it, expensive shouts, rich whispers. Now here's what ties all 7 of these things together. And once you see it, every house you ever walk into changes. Every one of these comes down to a single question. Who was this home built for? Expensive looking is built for the person walking through, the open house, the listing photo, the impression. Real luxury is built for the person living there, the 4th year, that quiet Tuesday, how it feels at 6 in the morning. One performs for the photos and the other performs for the decade. And that's the relief in all of this. You don't have to trust the listing or the agent or the staging anymore. You can just look. So here's the whole thing in one place. Screenshot this. 1, big isn't rich. Does the trim match the room? 2, the edges don't lie. Check the edges, not the surface. 3, the doorknob test. Turn the doorknob, open the drawer. 4, lights off luxury. How does it feel with the lights off? 5. Walk it like you live it. Move through it the way you'd actually live. 6. Bones versus staging. Is it quiet, solid, and evenly comfortable? 7. The real thing whisper. Is the house confident or is it shouting? 7 details. That's the whole difference between expensive looking and real luxury. Remember how I said nobody tells you this at an open house? Now you know why. The whole game is built on you not being able to tell the difference. And now you can. And that means the next time you walk into some gorgeous listing everyone's losing their minds over, you won't get swept up. You'll just quietly run the 7 points. And if you're buying or selling here on the East Side, this is what I do all day, every day. Reach out. The link's down in the description. I'm Abigail Anderson, realtor here on the East Side, and I'll see you in the next one.